Good. If you could just start us off with your thoughts on Bay and this matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously we haven't played Bay yet, so really excited in our findings from a scout perspective and where we feel that we can put our stamp on this match and also be ready to compete. I mean, they're a very respectable side. They're a very hardworking side. So we have to show up and compete for first and seconds. And we have to show up and ensure that we are continuing to use the momentum that we feel we built off of late in the Angel City game into the game, given the scenario last game against Seattle. The work ethic, the mentality, all those pieces in that match and kind of carry into this one to continue to push us in the right direction. It's exciting for us to be back at home in front of the home crowd.
Questions?
What have you kind of learned about your team in those late moments of late situation games, especially with that West Coast swing and back?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a tough games back to back, quick recovery time in between, but also quick opportunity to get detail in and everything that we needed to do. We had to put scouts together instead of separating them. We had to do the recaps in a very particular manner that we felt would be relevant to the next game as well. Not as long as we usually would do in some capacity. So yeah, we've learned a lot. I mean, obviously, the last game in specific, the mentality and then how the group stepped up in a scenario that we were in kind of early on, I think showed a lot about them. And I've spoken about this very openly. Tactically, the group was very engaged as the process was occurring. I had players coming over and saying that there's a possibility that this could happen. Oh, wow. Okay, this is what they're checking. Perfect. They were tactically in tune the entire game. And I think it shows their leadership. I think it shows their belief. And obviously the last play towards the tail end of the match, one of the last plays, we knew we were going to get one chance or one set piece and that we needed to put our stamp on it if that was the case.
Get an injury update.
Yes, injury update. Uche is day by day. Jalen's back in. Ari's day by day, progressing in a very good direction. Was in training yesterday. Expected to be in full training today. So very exciting for her. KD is continuing to progress day by day. At this point, is not back on the training field. And then Taylor, we're taking day by day with the incident that occurred in Seattle. Yeah, of course.
Bev, how much does it help to have something like that in the memory bank that, you know, you can get things done late, given the scenario at Seattle?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you know, we want to compete with our full squad as much as possible. But again, I think the response from the scenario, and I think it's very clear, as soon as you get that kickoff opportunity, right after that goal is scored and we change formation, obviously being down a player, I think you see the energy and the belief in that kickoff. And just as much as it is our responsibility to give that energy and belief, to see it from the players and to see it very shared in that moment was very inspiring for where the group is and how their continued growth is progressing. And I think we just did a really good job at continuing to affect the game as much as possible, being down a player. And obviously that opportunity late and the energy and obviously Raylan just competing, being very opportunistic in that moment. Jalen winning the header, obviously fantastic ball from Katie Lund. Yeah, I think it just shows we have that never die type of attitude.
Without Aaron Wright tomorrow, obviously, but Ellie Jean stepped in and
Yes.
did very well.
Yes, she
Can
did
you
very
talk
well.
about what she's been doing to be ready at a moment's notice?
Yeah, I think she's incredibly professional. I think she competes every day. She brings a very intense passion to everything that she does. I think she stepped in the field in a time of need. I think she did a fantastic job. We spoke very highly a lot about Seattle using the back post as their overload opportunities with coaches like Heitema and Balser. I think she did a very good job at understanding the game plan in a moment that she came into the match and recognizing that space, protecting that space as much as possible. I thought her decision making was very good. I also thought she was very clean on the ball. So very proud of her.
Are you the type that would ever give out, I don't know, grades on things, on where your team is at this point, maybe compared to where you thought they might be?
Yeah, I mean, I think given what we've just went through in the sense of the back-to-back games, the road, the travel, we attempted this trip to dive into a circadian rhythm. So trying to get the players, and us as a staff too, everybody that was traveling, an opportunity to get adjusted to the time change quicker because we knew we were going to be on the road for as long as we were on the road. That I think that quick stretch of games, the minutes back to back, again, the recovery, these types of things, I think it's fair to say that we're doing well and we're continuing to do well in certain areas. And obviously, given the scenarios that we've had and we've been placed with, I think we've found different ways to grow in different areas, the mentality pieces, these types of things. So I think for us, it's just we gotta continue to believe and we gotta continue to push.
There's talk about trying to fill the stadium
Mhm.
this week.
Mhm.
How much of an effect does that have when you do have a big loud crowd behind it?
Yeah, I mean, that's very helpful, isn't it? Because we all know when you go to other stadiums and they're packed, it's the energy, the vibe. When you feel the crowds behind you, it's very helpful, isn't it? And I think obviously we've had a few games here with a nice crowd, and I think for us, it's very powerful. So I'd encourage as many people to come out, to come check these ladies out. They're fantastic. They work their butts off every day to put on a good show, a good performance, because they care about the city, they care about each other, and they care about the success of this club.
Anything else?